Attorney General Pam Bondi. On October 7, 2025, and honestly, it was less a hearing and more of a no-holds-barred political brawl. Attorney General Pam Bondi was in the hot seat for 5 hours, grilled by the Senate Judiciary Committee, the first time since her Justice Department indicted former FBI Director James Comey just 2 weeks earlier. From the jump, Pam Bondi came out swinging, using what I'd call a deflect and attack strategy. Whenever Democratic senators pressed her, she didn't just dodge, she fired right back, personal insults and all. When Adam Schiff accused her of turning the DOJ into Trump's personal sword and shield.
The department has become President Trump's personal sword and shield to go after his ever-growing list of political enemies and to protect himself, his allies, and associates. My questions therefore focus on these two themes: hiding the corrupt acts of his friends and prioritizing the political prosecution of his enemies.
Bondi clapped back, hard. She basically told Schiff he'd be fired if he worked for her, and then jabbed at his record in Congress.
I said that.
Do you know, sitting here, whether
all
he took
I
the
know
money?
is that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Patel said there was no case. And Caroline Leavitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I know.
So
and,
was she?
was
Senator
she?
Schiff, was she
if
right?
you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying with your
we
egregious...
can stipulate to. You can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
Personal attacks? You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking.
But we're interested in.
Borders are.
What we're interesed in is the answer to these oversight questions.
You want your
you were asked by my colleague. You were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
Oh, and by the way, the DOJ is now investigating Schiff for mortgage fraud. Senators Durbin and Padilla tried to pin her down on why the National Guard was sent to Chicago against the governor's wishes.
What's the secret? Why do you want to keep this secret? The American people don't know the rationale behind the deployment of National Guard troops in my state. The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Bondi's response, a not-so-subtle dig. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump.
Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
She went after Senator Blumenthal over his Vietnam service claims.
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You admitted you lied to be
accusing
elected a U.S. senator. You lied. How dare you? I'm a career prosecutor. Don't you ever challenge my integrity. I have abided by every ethics standard. Do not question my ability to be fair and impartial as Attorney General, and anything with my former firm, Ballard Partners.
Thank you.
Told Senator Hirono that attending a protest with Antifa meant she was probably a member.
Senator Hirono, as I stated earlier, the Department of Justice and the FBI conducted a thorough review, and they found no credible evidence of any wrongdoing. You were also on video outside the White House protesting with a group called CASA, where Antifa members were. Does that mean you're a member of Antifa?
And accused Senator Whitehouse of being tied to dark money groups.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche recently stated the investigation of Mr.
Never mind.
Holman
I can
was
see I'm not going to get a straight
full
answer from you
review
to a very simple
by
question.
the FBI agents and the DOJ. They
you
found
know-
no credible evidence of wrongdoing. You know, you're very concerned about money and people taking money, and you rail against dark money. Yet you work with dark money groups all the time, Senator Whitehouse.
No one was safe. But when it came to the big issues, like the specifics of the Comey indictment, her private chats with Trump, or controversial DOJ firings, Bondi stonewalled. She refused to answer, citing ongoing investigations or personnel matters. Even when shown a photo of her dining with Trump the night before Comey's indictment, she just smiled and said she loved the picture.
Actually, there were a lot of people there that night. That's a great picture.
Democrats hammered her about prosecuting Trump's enemies and protecting his allies, pointing straight to Trump's own social media posts, basically directing Bondi's moves. Meanwhile, Republicans shot back, highlighting Biden-era DOJ actions like the Jack Smith probe getting GOP senators' phone records, and calling it a historic betrayal.
Also heard them said, and I just wrote it down because I wanted to be sure I heard it correctly. I've heard them say that Joe Biden never targeted his political enemies. Joe Biden never directed his attorney general to target his political opponents. That's interesting, because I could have sworn that yesterday we learned that the FBI tapped my phone. Let's look at it. We've got a list. Tapped my phone, tapped Lindsey Graham's phone, tapped Marsha Blackburn's phone, tapped 5 other phones of United States senators. Gee, it sure looks like targeting political opponents to me.
Through it all, Bondi tried to pivot to crime stats, talking tough on arrests in D.C., drug busts in Chicago, and border crackdowns. She insisted, we're returning to our core mission of fighting real crime. And just to add fuel to the fire, this all went down while the government was shut down. So Bondi took the chance to blame Democrats for forcing DOJ staff to work without pay. Bottom line, it was less about answers and more about the spectacle. Each side accused the other of weaponizing the Justice Department. If you're looking for justice, you probably left the hearing with more questions than answers. Let me know what you think. Was this real oversight, or just another political circus? Hit the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this.